So now let's dive in deep. And I couldn't think of a better way to kick off 2014 than with Bob Proctor, who is one of our industry's giants in the field of the science of the mind and the science of getting rich. He's made it his life's mission to study from a scientific perspective what works and what doesn't. Many of you know he was the leading featured expert in the blockbuster transformational movie, The Secret. He's had a number of #1 best-selling books and best-selling programs, and he has helped create countless success stories. He is a living example of making impact over the past 50 years. And I'm lucky to know him personally and so appreciate the sincerity of how he cares and his commitment to success. Really, Bob is a prime example of what's possible no matter what your circumstance. As in his younger days, he came from humble beginnings, dropped out of school, and was penniless at one point. He wasn't lucky enough to have trainings and people as resources to guide him, but he did have a couple of key books that he hungrily ate up that turned everything around for him. And from there, he found and forged his own way and has now helped countless others. Now, Bob, I want to thank you so much for joining us on the call. Thank you, Bob.
It's my pleasure to be here, Lynn.
And
I want to congratulate you and Wendy on putting this together. I think you're doing a great thing.
Oh, thank you. Oh, we definitely are just so purpose-driven because we see the difference it makes when you can make that impact and help others, just be able to bridge the gap. And talk about impact. I mean, one of the reasons we're doing the event and doing this call is because we want to create that ripple effect of making a difference in other people's lives. And this morning as we were talking, you shared some astounding stories with me of people reaching out to you some decades later, continuing to thank you for the difference you made for them. Anyone who's experienced something like this knows how fulfilling it is when you hear back from how you touched someone's life. And we want that for everyone on the call. Can you share that example of that certain someone who texted you just last week and what you did for him and now what he's done for others? I think that's so powerful what that demonstrates. And then please share with us the secrets to taking on your income and whatever your industry or calling with purpose so that you can create the level of wealth you created in a year within a month, which I know is something you are just brilliant at.
Well, there was a couple of examples I shared with you because I think what we do is so important, and I think it's very important that we help each other in doing this. But I got a text. I got one about 2 years ago from Chris Guerrero, and then I got another one from him, I guess just celebrating New Year's. He said, Bob, I could barely afford to get into your coaching program in my 20s. But the mindset I learned from you helped me create 8-figure businesses, 4 8-figure businesses so far. I've helped my clients make over $100 million in additional revenue. I'm not sure that anyone knows how much their input changes lives, but he says yours made a big difference to me and to so many. And then he just went on to wish me a happy Christmas. Here's a guy that had to put 3 or 4 credit cards together to get into the coaching program that I do, but it's helped him earn millions of dollars. And I was mentioning, Lynn, that I got a letter from Joe Stangoni. Joe Stangoni was the #1 manager in the #1 insurance company in the world, the Prudential. And I went and did work with him 35 years ago. Now, I haven't talked to Joe for, 5 years, I guess, something like that. But he sent me a letter, and I just want to touch on the one part. He said, Bob, this year I almost left the planet. I spent a lot of time in the Mayo Clinic. Thank God it's here in Jacksonville. I'm 100% now. But while there, I thought I need to thank a few people for all their help. He said, you were at the top of the list of this group. I couldn't leave before I said a big thank you to you. And I went into his place and helped his office go to number 1 in the world out of 500 offices. And over the years, he has sent me a note to thank me for it. Well, you know, in the years I've been in this, you learn a lot about this business. And I think it's important that we share what we learn with other people that want to build their business. Exactly. I was thinking as you were introducing this call, Lynn, way back in 1968, I was just starting in the business, and believe me, I didn't know the war was over. I mean, there weren't too many in this business at that time, and it wasn't easy. And I was living in Chicago, someone said, you should go and hear Vanderwall in Vancouver. I said, what do you mean? He said, there's a guy out there that's doing a seminar, you should go and hear him. And I immediately said, okay, I'll go. Now, I had a couple of people say, you're going to Vancouver and you haven't even heard this guy? You're going to spend all that money? Well, you know, I didn't even think of that. I just thought, I'm going to learn something. And when I got there, I got the best information. It just changed my whole life. And I remember going up to him after the seminar. Val Vanderwall was his name. And I said, could I spend a couple hours with you? And he said, well, I'm catching a plane. I'm leaving now. And I said, I don't mean right now. I said, anytime. And he said, where are you from? And I said, Chicago. He said, what are you doing here? I said, I come out to hear you. I said, if I had known what I was going to get, I'd have walked all the way out here. And I think that attitude at the beginning of my career is what's contributed to whatever success I've enjoyed. Because I think you have to be able to pay whatever price in time and money if you want to make it. I mean, you do it if you were going to go in a sport for the Olympics. You wouldn't think of time or money. You know what you have to do. And it's the same in this business, I think. You have to make the same decisions. And the fact that you and Wendy have put this event together in January, I mean, some of the people that are there, my goodness, an individual would gain enough information from one of them to multiply their income. And when I think of what could happen with all of them there, it's an incredible opportunity.
Yes, thank you. Well, and you so well illustrate the power of being committed to your growth, being committed to your success, and doing what it takes, and then the ripple effect that happens because of what that gentleman was offering, and you did what it took to get to Vancouver. It changed your life, and then created the success you created that then you passed on to the Chris Guerrero, right, who was decades ago, but now he has passed that on to others that he's helped make millions. And, you know, and impact can come in the form of income, and it can come in the form of many other ways as well. But when you have that income, the freedom that can give you to reach even more people and to expand your life and to give back.
Well, you know, Lynn, the income part of it, I think, is vitally important, and it's a subject that a lot of people shy away from. You know, they don't want people thinking that all you think about is money. Well, if you haven't got any, that's all you think about is money. And I think it's important that people learn how to earn money. School doesn't teach us how to earn money. You can go to work for a company. They're not going to teach you how to earn money. They're interested in you earning money for them. They're buying your time at wholesale and selling it at retail and hoping they made a good deal when they hired you. Earning money is a science. And I was fortunate enough to be introduced to it the proper way a long time ago. I had earned a lot of money and I didn't know what I had done. Most people that are highly successful cannot articulate on why they're highly successful. I made up my mind I wanted to find out why was I winning. And I ended up working with Lloyd Conant and Earl Nightingale. And Lloyd is the one that really taught me the science of getting rich, and it really is a science. It's something anybody can follow, and if you follow it, it works. It works just as certain as it's going to get dark tonight wherever you are. It'll get light in the morning because it's all by law. And once you gain an understanding of the laws, then the money's going to be there. Most people are afraid to charge what they're worth. They have a low opinion of themselves insofar as earning money is concerned. And one of the things I'm always working on is helping a person understand just how much they are worth. And you can't even guess at what a person's worth. We're the highest form of creation on the planet. We've been given awesome faculties, and we have to learn to use them and properly charge for them.
That's brilliant. And I can hear within there are obviously touching on some nuggets of what people can do or how they can be able to take the science and use it for them. Can you expand on that? For people listening right here, what they can start doing right now so they can apply this science?
Well, I think what they want to do is, first of all, understand that this universe is an orderly universe. I quoted Dr. Werner von Braun on The Secret, where he said the natural laws of the universe are so precise that we don't have any difficulty building spaceships, sending people to the moon, and we can time the landing with the precision of a fraction of a second. Well, we can take those laws and apply them to money. And one of the laws is the law of relativity. I think we invoke that law the wrong way. We start working up. And so if we're earning, let's say, $100,000 a year, and you think, well, could I earn 150? Could I earn 200? And as you go up, the number gets bigger and bigger and bigger. What we should do is go up and say, I think I'm going to earn 50 million. And realize that it's nothing but a fantasy to start off with. But so is flying airplanes or climbing to the top of Mount Everest a fantasy. So are cell phones, smartphones. So we were given an imagination for that very purpose, to fantasize, to create images in our mind, and start and really seriously look at how you could earn 50 million and start to break it down. Now, when that becomes overwhelming, break it down to 40, maybe 10, come down to 10 million. Now, what you're doing there is you're causing the number to get smaller, and it looks easier because you're making it smaller. But when you start at the bottom and work up, it keeps getting bigger. And because it's bigger, it's more difficult. So I think we have to gain an understanding of how to work with these laws and start to work with them properly. And when we start to do that, everything starts to change. First of all, I take and I break numbers down. I play with numbers all the time when I'm on a plane. And I do a lot of flying. I forever got a calculator out, and I'm playing with numbers. And when you do this, you turn it into a game. I'm going to play a game on the phone, and everybody can listen. I got a big calculator here, and I've put it in front of me, and I've punched out 1 and 6 zeros. And then I'm going to divide that, or you might want to write this down and then play with it. I'm going to divide that million by 12. Now I've broken it down. It's a month. It's 83,333. The conscious mind can only think of one thing at a time. You can't think of time and money at the same time. So I'm just looking at the money. Instead of a million, I'm looking at 83,333. Now you say, but you got to earn that every month. Okay, let's make it easier. Divide that by 4.3. Now we've got it down to 4.3. Now we're down to 19,379. There's 4.3 weeks in a month. Well, that's still quite a bit to earn every week. So let's divide that now by 2. Now I've got it down to 9,689. Well, that's quite a bit. I think I'm going to divide that by 86. All right, divide it by 86. Now we're down to, wait a minute, hold on a minute.
But I love it, playing with the numbers so that you can continue, as you say, bring it down lower.
Okay, and then divide it by 86. Now I'm down to about $112.86. I've got to earn that twice a week for a year. Now let me ask you a question, then. If I could show you how to earn, let's say it's down to $1,129. If I could show you how to do that twice a week, where you could go out without too much trouble, earn $1,129 twice a week, would you give me the $129 and keep the $1,000?
Oh, well, absolutely.
You would, wouldn't you? So you see, I don't have to earn $1 million anymore. I have to figure out how I can get you to earn $1,129 twice a week. And once I got that figured out, then I just find 85 other people to do it. You see, and I've got $1 million coming in. All I did was think. Now, I was flying on a plane. I was going around the world. I had gone into Tel Aviv, then to Cyprus, then to Dubai, then to Melbourne, then to Auckland, then to LA, and then back to Toronto. And all the way around, everywhere I went, people were, there was crowds and seminars. Could I just have you for 15 minutes? Well, I couldn't talk to any of them for 15 minutes. I had to go and catch a plane, go to the next city. But I kept thinking all the way around, I should be able to do this. I should be able to spend some time with them. And on the flight back, I started streaming. There's an idea. So I got in, I phoned our IT guy, and I said, what do you know about streaming? He said, what do you want to know? Well, within a half hour, an hour or so, I had an icon on my laptop where I could punch on it, and I could start streaming. Within 48 hours, I had started the streaming club. I had over 300 people from 60-some countries registered at $88 a month. I really didn't give it much attention last year, but I earned over $400,000 with it. You see, you've got to play with numbers and then break it into small numbers. And it's a game. And just constantly play the game. And turn your annual income to a monthly income. First of all, it's probably not very difficult to do. Now, I don't know what you earned last year, but I do know if I sat down with you for an hour or so, I bet you I could show you, Lynn, how to earn that much in a month. Now, I've done that with all kinds of people.
Yeah.
And I can do it, you can do it. See, it's not a matter of being smart or being super intelligent. It's a matter of getting the hell outside the box and start thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me add to that. Just imagine getting together with about 10 or 15 people that think like I'm thinking and let them help you. My goodness. That'll change your life like night and day, and that's what your event is doing.
Yes. Well, we have this expression, we work with people as well, that when you're inside the jar, it's hard to see the outside of the label. So when you have other people you work with that can reflect back to you possibilities. But even if you are inside the jar, I love the way that you're playing with the numbers because it allows you to play with it and to be creative so that you can maybe step outside that jar and see other possibilities you wouldn't have been able to see. But to have the guidance of others, and obviously along your path that's played a huge part for you, and I know it has for us, that has helped guide us to see what's possible or to point in the right direction. And you've done that for when you work with people, the people you just mentioned on the live stream. You were even talking about the secrets we just shared right now. I'm sure you applied when you helped this one company that was failing go to number one in credential and then stay that way for 3 years, which is like the number one company. And I just thought that was so profound and so powerful what you were able to do, and it's through this approach. A lot of people want to look at it and poo-poo it or think, oh, like you said, it's like a fantasy. But what it really is giving ourselves that permission to play with it.
Well, you see, Lynn, like I mentioned, the whole universe operates by laws. There's a law of polarity. There's an opposite to everything. If you have an up, a down. If there's a hot, there's a cold. If there's a reason you can't do it, there has to be a reason why you can. You see, you can do anything if you will stay focused on how to do it. That's how Hillary got to the top of the mountain. I had the good fortune of working with him 2 or 3 times, and the only difference in Ed Hillary and anybody else was his size. He was a big guy, but he was an ordinary beekeeper, for goodness sake. And here he did something nobody had ever done in the history of the world. The Wright brothers were bicycle mechanics. If we take a look at the people that make the great breakthroughs, they're ordinary Lynn's and Bob's and Wendy's and Cynthia's and Sonia's. They're not rocket scientists. If you go around and talk to almost all the successful people in corporations, they can't tell you why they're successful. They're successful because of their mental programming. When at this event that you're putting on, you've got some of the top people from our industry that have their programming going in the right direction. And they're telling people how to do it. My goodness, anybody in this industry should change whatever their plans are and get to your seminar and then pick the brain of every person that gets on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you turn your annual income to a monthly income. It's the people that I've worked with. Listen, anybody that I work with, I got a young salesperson working for me now. He was struggling when I met him, when he came to work for us. He's earning $1 million working with me this year. I'm paying him $1 million. Sandra Gallagher, who is my business partner today, she was a very successful banking attorney. She earned a good six-figure income, but she got into a seminar. She finally she's now a partner in the company. But I was showing her this. Now she's earning a few $1 million a year. Anyone can do this. I never went to school. I went to high school for a couple of months. So I'm convinced if I can do it, anyone can do it. And I think you have to get with people who are convinced. I've got a young guy right now that I'm mentoring. He pays me $150,000 a year. He's 21 years old. Now you say, well, what the heck's he doing? He's selling. He has a sales crew. I'm showing him how to build it bigger. He earned $1 million last year before I even met him. Now, I've got him way over that. I had him at $62,000 2 weeks ago for the week. You see, when you follow instructions of somebody that knows, if you could imagine, Lynn, that you've got a lined sheet of paper in front of you, and each line one above the other. Let the lines represent levels of awareness. Now, if you put an X on a line about a quarter of the way up the page, and then go on about 3/4 of the way up the page and put another X. At the top, make that A, and at the bottom X, make it a B. Now, let the lines represent levels of awareness. If nothing's created or destroyed, everything's already here. We're enjoying the life we've got because we've become aware of how to do it. Well, the person on A level is aware of how to get the results of the person on B level because they've been there. But the person on the B level is not aware of how to get the results of the person on the A level because they haven't developed that awareness yet. So how does the B level get to that awareness? By talking to the A level, by asking them what they're doing, by following instructions, by doing exactly what they tell you. And that's what I did. And that's what I'm still doing.
Oh, it's so powerful. Because otherwise you can try to spend years and years figuring it out and making mistakes and getting setbacks. But when you have that proper guidance and those connections, you can literally just cut off years. You can so accelerate and just laser your results. That's so powerful.
When I first started, the man that got me involved in this, he said, if you do exactly what I tell you. Now, I don't know why I agreed to it because I never had up to that point. I mean, I had lost at everything. I was 26. But for some reason, I did. Now, I didn't believe I could do what he told me I could do, but I believed he believed it. And so I thought, I'm going to do it. Well, my income went from $4,000 to $175,000 in a year. Then it went over $1 million. Now, this is back in 1961 when $1 million was a lot of money. It's a lot of money today, but it was a hell of a lot more then. And so I learned then that's what you've got to do. You've got to go to people who have demonstrated by results they know what they're doing. Just look at their results. That'll tell you whether they know what they're doing or not. Having a good story isn't worth anything if the results aren't there. Well, the people on your program at your event, the one that you and Wendy are putting on, they get the results. Sonia Riccati gets the results. Cynthia Kersey gets the result. Lynn Rose gets it. You people are getting the results. So if someone goes there and said, tell me what to do. I'll do exactly what you tell me. They're going to win. That's how I win. I could earn $1 million in a week from home because I know how to do it now. It's not a matter of being smart. It's just a matter of knowing some of the rules. And that's what your event is all about, is teaching people the rules.
Yes, I'm giving them that shortcut by facilitating those connections.
You know something? I don't think it's a shortcut, Lynn. I think we look at it as a shortcut. I think it's a matter of waking up to higher levels.
Well
you know,
said.
I don't think there's any shortcuts. I think there's only certain ways. Like Wallace Wattles in The Science of Getting Rich, he says you don't get rich by doing certain things. You get rich by doing things in a certain way. So I think the certain way is what the people will learn at your event.
Oh, yes.
And that is worth a fortune. You see, if I didn't know what I know, I would walk to China to get it. I have people come from all over the world to study with me. Well, you know, somebody's on the call and they're thinking, goodness, I got to fly all the way from London. If you had to swim all the way from London, you want to go and get there. And it's not a matter of whether you're going to can afford to spend the money. You're going to spend the money anyway. It's what are you going to spend it on? You're going to spend the time anyway. It's what are you going to spend it on? Well, nothing better to spend it on than learning how to polish and shape your own craft, how to do it and make it happen fast. The universe loves speed.
That is so brilliant, and you are so on point. Thank you, Bob.